So Jasmine's come out with some very interesting comments regarding the tell-all. Now, first one, obviously, as you can see, she says, "I have to confess that today a deep sadness hit me like a big wave. Some people texting me I'm a freebie. I should get out of the country, and also many phrases that this person who I once loved keeps rubbing on my face, at least the last attempt to destroy the little bit of human dignity left on me after being with him." Now, of course, the whole term of being a freebie comes from the fact that Gino decided to call Jasmine a freebie on the first episode of The Tell All, pretty much saying that, listen, Matt cannot have a freebie for me. If he wants Jasmine, he's got to wait until I deport her, and then once I do that, he can then marry her and then pay for her way back to the United States, because I didn't put all that money into her for her to come here, and all of a sudden another man can then have her for free. That is literally where the term has come from regarding freebie. And then also on top of that, when she talks about many people are saying that she should get out of the country, again, Gino has repeatedly said that how he wants Jasmine to go back to Panama. In fact, the words he used is go back to Panama, which I've already come out myself to say that realistically, that is actually racial abuse. Because at the end of the day, if somebody was to say to myself, go back to Africa, go back to Zimbabwe, or anything like that, generally speaking, that is known as a racial offense to somebody because you're telling them to get the hell out of your country. So, of course, him saying that is something else that isn't nice, and therefore at the tail, Cara did say to him, surprisingly, Cara did say to him, hey, you should not be calling her a BISTH, nor should you be saying go back to Panama. But then she also downplayed it and said, but I understand why you're saying it, which was the most bizarre thing ever. But either way, though, it seems as if, here's the thing, before Gina was saying these things, Jasmine was already receiving, racial abuse anyway, with people saying that she should go back to Panama anyway. But obviously now that Gina's obviously seen it on national TV, it has definitely escalated things. But here's the thing, folks, there was also a situation with Jasmine that went down with her and Natalie, which is something else that she decided to respond to, because of course when Natalie said what she wanted to say, guess what happened? Jasmine didn't even bother saying anything back. So with that being said, let's get into exactly what Jasmine had to say. So as you can see, she responds by saying that people want to know why I didn't apologize, which to be fair, she should have. This person is a paid actor who's getting thousands to be on TV for this current show and the coming single life show. Good for her, get your bag. While this is a job for her, for me, this is my real life. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but for the longest time possible, everything Jasmine has done for the most part has been because of the paycheck. It has been because 90 Day Fiance has been a part of her job. So for her to sit there hypocritically, in my opinion, and say that somebody else is playing off a camera just because it's a paid job and they need to get their bag, no. Because if somebody came for her this way, she'd be headed defensive about it. So for me personally, whether or not Natalie is a paid actor or not, for Jasmine to say this, for me, is hella hypocritical to the way she has behaved over the years so she can stay on the TV, and also, most importantly, so she can continue getting the most screen time. So yeah, I call it a bit of BS on that. And to be honest with you, this whole thing of saying that she's a paid actor, the reason why I say that it may not be true is because there is a chance that Jasmine's only saying this because the internet have been calling Natalie a paid actor for the longest time since she appeared. So maybe that's why she's saying it, just for the sake of that. But either way, though, it may be true. But anyway, it continues by saying, I was not going to get in the same trap where she insults me, tries to physically attack me, but just my reaction makes it to TV. That's why I walked away, as I should have, Dana's birthday party. I asked, what did it take for this person to leave me alone? Response, apologize to her. Sonnet, I'm not too sure what that means. Makes sense why she's with Gino in single life. And so I did. It's going to make TV, I don't know. I mean, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I guess it's up to us however we want to take this piece of information that Jasmine has obviously decided to share regarding obviously how she feels about Natalie. But to be honest with you, here's the thing, folks, okay? We saw it clear as day. Now, listen, I understand that editing is a big thing with 90 Day Fiance. And at the end of the day, editing is a big part of obviously why things are displayed the way they're displayed and why we have our opinions. But here's the thing, there were certain things that despite editing, if somebody behaved that way, well, they behaved that way. So the matter of fact is when Jasmine walked into that scene, there was no editing with her walking into the scene and then basically calling, what's her name again? Natalie, a stripper. If anything, calling her a Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? So it's funny how she talks about how Natalie is just a paid actor who's doing these things for XYZ, but yet you're telling me, so basically, you're basically telling us that when you called her a whore and you called her a stripper or whatever, you was basically saying that to insult her, not because it was true. Because at the end of the day, if she knew that she was a paid actor, then that means these accusations of Jasmine through to Natalie were obviously unwarranted. Do you see what I'm saying? You see how it's a bit right there? So really and truly, I don't know what she's trying to prove here with this explanation of why she didn't apologize, but it doesn't change the fact that you still was an ass, okay? That's the bottom line. But either way, though, let's just make it a buck. Obviously, she's the one that walked into the birthday party hot with this crazy disrespectful energy, and then of course Natalie obviously got on her feelings and obviously wanted to go into the attack. Listen, end of the day, the way I look at it, no woman in that situation was correct in terms of the way they behaved, but it has to be recognized based on what we saw. And even the fact that Jasmine doesn't even deny it, but we have to recognize that the person who instigated the situation in the first place was who? Jasmine. And I don't see her trying to, obviously defend that or change that perspective. But with that being said, though, let's move on, because she also came out by saying I was postpartum and dealing with real stuff. When I did my live stream literally earlier on today, there was a point that was made. People made a point about how, Jasmine is acting as if this is her first ever child. This is like, what, baby number 3 now? Or is it baby number 4? Baby number 3 now. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. At the end of the day, these were the people that were saying this were women. So they were basically saying that obviously Elizabeth can try and say that, Jasmine shouldn't be picked on because she's obviously postpartum. Jasmine can come out and obviously say, think about postpartum, but she's saying as if this is the first time ever having a baby and not knowing how to deal with it. But listen, end of the day, for me, I'm a man. I've never had a child before. I'm never going to be able to give birth to a child. So therefore, I'm not going to speak too much on it, but I just wanted to reference the fact that women felt like as if that was just nothing but excuse for Jasmine's behavior, purely because it is not her first rodeo, obviously, when it comes to having a child. So please let me know your thoughts on that one. But either way that we continue as she goes, I was not there just to make an appearance, get paid, and then continue with my life. It was not showing hate to anyone, because I literally don't hate anyone. I know why I did what I did. All I know is this: at the tail, Natalie came guns blazing, and Jasmine had an opportunity to respond. And the response that Jasmine should have gave Natalie was a very simple one, and that is, I am sorry. But instead of giving an apology, Jasmine just went, la 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 la, which really and truly just wasn't needed. End of the day, the matter of fact is, when it comes to accountability, that is something that Jasmine would not take. Whether or not Natalie obviously had her part to play in it, that was obviously wrong. It doesn't mean that Jasmine can't take her part of the accountability in the situation. She could have literally just said, you know what, guys, after looking back at the tail, I really should have apologized, despite the fact that I really should have apologized for my part in the situation. But instead of apologizing for her part in the situation, she'd rather come out and say, well, she's a paid actor, but yet you're telling me now you bullied a paid actor and throwing false accusation to a paid actor. Make that make sense? And then also comes out to talk about, I got postpartum and dealing with real stuff. I'm sorry, but everyone is dealing with real stuff right now. I mean, hell, from what I understand, in the UK right now, the UK has reached its lowest ever unemployment of all time. She wants to act like she's the only person dealing with stuff. In the United States of America, people are losing family members every day to freaking ICE. And you want to talk about real stuff? People are literally working paycheck to paycheck, and you want to talk about real stuff? There are single mothers out there right now who are doing what they can to raise their child by themselves without no support. And you want to talk about real stuff? Real stuff? One thing that I really dislike is when people talk as if they're the only person going through shiz in life, when the reality is this: Jasmine, you're not special. So don't talk about real stuff. Let's just talk about you learning the simple term of accountability. Now, also on top of that is also in particular, Jasmine also then, as she always likes to do, also decided to respond to the post on Pinterest. So exactly what we just spoke about was then posted on 90 Day Fiance Alexa. And here's the thing, Jasmine also had an extra bit to say in the comment section. And of course she has. It's crazy how she has so many things to say about Natalie in the comment section, but couldn't say anything to her at the tell-all because she was put on blast. But nonetheless, though, as you can see here, Jasmine also comes up by saying, I'm glad that at least this time it made it to TV. The parts where she insults me, calls me names, and threatens me, same as the first time, but it was conventionally left out. Conveniently left out. I mean, listen, to be honest, if you, like I said before, I'm not saying that Natalie is innocent in this situation. All I'm saying is that Jasmine needs to stop walking around as if she has no role to play in this madness. Take accountability for your part. End of the day, Natalie may or may not ever reply, but you know what Jasmine could have done as the bigger person if she wanted to be the bigger person? She could have been like, you know what, folks, it was my fault to come in there and obviously call her names. It was my fault to obviously make things worse by opening my big mouth. I really shouldn't have said anything. If anything, I should have recognized the situation that I was put in with Natalie was Gino's fault, and therefore things got out of hand. I said things, Natalie said things, and the reality is, regardless of what I said and regardless of what she said, the bigger problem and the real problem is actually Gino. But no, instead of Jasmine taking accountability in that kind of format and really saying, you know what, two women went to war for a man that's basically a piece of crap. Instead, she just wants to be out there defending her corner because she wants to make sure that everybody believes that Natalie's just this horrible person, which again, she could be, but let's not forget, this whole situation really and truly is down to one person, and that is Gino. But hey, she's a paid actor, so I guess really and truly, if she's a paid actor, that means clearly Gino's involvement really and truly is irrelevant, isn't it? Just think about that. That means obviously the situation that happened between Natalie and Jasmine, if she's a paid actor, that means Gino has nothing to do with it. He was just doing what he was told to do, and therefore Jasmine decided to react however she wanted to react because that's the kind of person that she is. So either way though, the more I look at it, it just doesn't look good in Jasmine's favor, to be honest with you. Sometimes apologizing and just letting it be is the best thing to do, rather than talking the most and then really and truly, you then now open up a tin of worms. Because now, like I said before, if I go back to the things that I've just realized with her, if she's a paid actor, then that means Jasmine insulted an innocent woman. If she's a paid actor, then that means realistically Gino's involvement in the situation actually wasn't the core of the instigation. It clearly means that the situation was instigated due to the fact that Jasmine came in hot and Natalie came in to defend herself. Or maybe Natalie came in hot and then Jasmine had to defend herself. Who knows? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, things get a bit technical, don't they? Well, nonetheless, though, let me know exactly what you're thinking down below in the comment section and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. Peace.